All right, welcome to my classroom. This is a severe and profound special education classroom at Franklin Intermediate in Brooke County. We have some basic classroom rules here. Make good choices. I am in charge of me. If it's not yours, don't touch it. Be helpful, not hurtful. Pretty simple things to follow. This was the classroom door as we walked through, and to the left of that is our Reading Center's corner. It's a comfortable place for kids to calm down and just kind of recenter themselves. There are some books available. On the other side here we have a shelf full of sensory toys and different things for the students to interact with. On from there is my smart board where I do most of my teaching from, and there's some other classroom books down there that we can read aloud. My whiteboard. There's my teacher desk along with my aide's desk. In front of my desk here I have my time timer. This is very effective for when we're dealing with transitions and going to a new area. Some students have a hard time with knowing when to end their playtime, and the time timer helps. Once it goes off, then they know that they have to be done and they clean up. Many of my students have really cooperated with that. As for a sensory corner, we have a student that loves to stay in the tent. That's her safe place. She also has a donut cushion to help her with her W sitting, to keep her hips off the ground. There's a peanut ball that she can bounce on, roll on, get tummy time with, a crash pad, and a trampoline. Any students have access to these sensory areas over here. This is her workspace here. She has her own workspace, and then the other students have this workspace where they work with me one-on-one. We have a first then board we do with a lot of ABA techniques. So she completes her work first, and then she can play. She fills up the board with each activity she completes. She puts a star on the board. When she fills it all up, then she can earn her playtime. Along with fine motor skills to help her with her grip, she uses triangular markers to help her hold the markers into color. She had a hard time with weight and the pressure of holding the pencil to the paper. She didn't have enough strength to press down, so I made this for her. It's a weighted pencil with a grip. It's just some washers on the end of a pencil, but it has helped her with her grip and able to write more independently. We have a visual schedule. There's our calendar, along with sensory tools and toys to play with during their listening program time. I'll get to that in a moment. But on here we have some sensory toys like squishy shapes. There's Marble Run. There's a cash register for some of the more of those life skills. This is kinetic sand, and this is seasonal kinetic sand. Broken apart into little seasons with penguins and snow for the winter. Spring has bugs and flowers. Summer is lots of beachy things with water and dolphins. And fall has crops growing, and there's a farmer and a cow and animals there. They have a kitchen set. They have another kitchen set I'll get to in a moment. We play music here where they have a xylophone. Let's see, there's also playhouses, bristle blocks, cardboard blocks where they can build things. They have different kinds of animals to play with, dinosaurs. In this bag is city blocks where they can build a little town. Along with that is a map of a city where they can put their blocks on and build that little town. This is the kitchen I was referring to. We just got this about a month ago. It's been a great thing for the students to learn life skills. There's a sink for washing dishes. It came with pots and pans. There's an oven. They like to use these books as little menus. There's silverware, cups, play food of all kinds, and it even comes with an umbrella. They put the umbrella up when it's open, and then they close the umbrella themselves when their little shop is closed. I have a student that needs a a cushion for her seating. She gets very distracted, and the wobble cushion helps her with that. Another student also had a hard time with transitions, working on going from one thing to the next. So now she has this clip, and she moves her clip along her visual schedule. Sometimes she goes with her homeroom class on certain days of the week, so that has a yellow ribbon with them. You'll notice these centers here. There's math centers, and on the previous page there was reading centers. Those are boards that I created to help with transitions as well. I'll get to those in a moment. And that's her visual schedule that she uses. As for more social skills, the students had a hard time with knowing their first and last name, along with their address. I feel like it's important for students to know their address by heart and be able to write it down, and their mother's phone number. So this is for one student, and this is for another student. On the back side of this is where it's, oh, there's my time timer. Time to clean up. Let's switch centers. Great for transitions. But back to my address and phone number practice. On the flip side is where the numbers are actually written in, so they can trace it and then scaffold up to just the boxes themselves as being blank. Where the spaces are, those are numbers. And that's the phone number at the bottom there. So this can help them understand their address, phone numbers, and first and last name. I was referring to the reading centers and math centers. These are the boards I created to help with transitions in our centers. In the morning, we start with reading centers. We have an hour for centers, so each center is scheduled as 15 minutes using my time timer. The children set up their board. As long as the numbers are different from their partner, then we're all good to start centers. So they start with whatever they're doing first. There's games, which is usually puzzles or some sort of sensory game or a matching game with me. And this person wanted to start with her listening program, and that would be in this section here, where she has a secluded area. We can even close the wall if we need to. There's a bean bag there if they want to sit on the floor, get comfortable. They use those sensory toys that are on this shelf here, and they take them around to the listening program area and do their 15 minutes of listening here. It's one of their favorite parts of the day, is their listening. So, after that, once the time timer goes off after 15 minutes, they come over back to their boards and move their star to the done star. And now they move on to their second center. Now the student gets to go on her listening program, and the student comes to teacher table. And also, we have iReady in this county, so they go on iReady reading for their reading center. I'll get to teacher table in a moment. In the afternoon, we have a little less time. We have about 50 minutes for math, so that's why there's only 3 centers for math. And once again, the students have their second round of listening program, so another opportunity for them. Teacher table as well for the math lesson and instruction. And then you'll notice for math, we have 2 different programs that they can choose from for their math. So even more choices and independence, and this creates more autonomy in their schedule of the day. As for teacher table, I usually work with decodable readers, practice books, sentence formation, grammar, things like that. But this has also been a big hit for a lot of my students, is practicing their letter writing, number writing, words, drawing, addition, subtraction. It comes with this grip, and this pen has disappearing ink. So as they practice their letters, these are actually grooved letters where they can stay inside of the groove as best as they can. And then after about 15 minutes, the ink disappears. So a student worked on this just before she left, and you can see the ink is starting to disappear already. A student did this one yesterday, and it's already gone. So these have been great with the grip and the disappearing ink and different kinds of things that they love to do. The drawing one is the favorite one, of course. Lots of different things to draw. So this was great for my students that needed that kind of like sensory break, but still practicing with their pencil grips and their writing activities. Let's see. Oh, the map. The map is a favorite one of my students. All right, so as I said, my name is Naomi Karcheski. I taught in a severe and profound special education classroom at Franklin Intermediate in Brooke County Schools. Our class is for students ages 9 through 11, grades 3 through 4. And it deals with mostly with students with exceptionalities of autism, intellectual disabilities, ADHD, and speech, language, physical, and occupational delays. Our students are very different. Each has their own way of learning and communicating. We focus on the basics, like staying attentive and learning self-care. When it comes to communication, our students struggle in different ways. Some use gestures and sounds. Some use devices such as the LAMP program. I have students that can speak as well, but they do have difficulties with syntax and skipping words in their speech. Socially, we practice things like playing together and taking turns. Physically, we help with gross motor movements like the trampoline, the peanut ball, floor seating with pillows and the donut cushions. We deal with fine motor movements as well, like pencil grips and using the triangular markers. In terms of behavior, many of our students use their actions to communicate what they need, and that's where our behavior strategies come in to help with positive reinforcement, to help our students to understand that when we make good choices, good things happen, and vice versa. As we make bad choices, bad things happen, such as we lose playtime, we don't get to go outside for recess, we lose things like sensory play. Like there's one student that loves this bubble thing. So if she's acting up that day, it's like, well, you can't use bubbles today then. And she has a hard time with understanding that, but she's getting a lot better with understanding that if bad things happen, it's because of your bad choices. So that's been a big bonus for us. We set up our classroom in clear areas. There's quiet areas, there's work tables, there's play zones. This cuts down on overwhelming the students with too much all at once or having too much of a busy classroom where there are quiet places that they can go if they need the sensory break. Let's see. I use one-on-one instruction for skill-based learning. I also teach during playtime as well. I play with the children most of the time. Sometimes the best lessons happen there. I teach them how to communicate effectively and handle negative social interactions. When someone's not playing right or if someone's saying something they don't like, how do you handle those situations? So we deal a lot with that. Visuals are vital in my classroom. I use first then boards. I use token systems, rewarding students with extra sensory toys or high fives or verbal reinforcement. And then I gradually lessen those supports to build independence. Let's see. The best part for me in this experience were those light bulb moments when a student tries new things and can overcome unhelpful behaviors and replaces it with helpful behaviors. That's one of our classroom rules, is to be helpful, not hurtful. And that's been a great thing to see the progress in each student. The hardest part for me was managing those big behaviors while still trying to keep the class going and working through those instructional times when a student was having a difficult time with sensory or behavioral or those transitions. I got through it really looking at the data and breaking down what happens before, during, and after each behavior as the ABC, antecedent, the behavior, and the consequence afterwards. So we could make changes and add things like sensory breaks or a visual schedule. Be sure that the students have physical activities to help them reset. And that cut down on a lot of the distractions and incidents. A big lesson for me was social skill work is essential. Progress means helping kids truly connect and becoming themselves, like being aware of who they are as a person to create their own identity. This experience proved that teamwork and the right approach enable every student to grow. working with the other therapists. I have OT, PT, speech, and all sorts of therapists that come in. So that's been a great experience for me too. Thank you.